A CDC advisory panel is meeting today to discuss the Pfizer COVID-19 shot for kids ages 5 to 11. They're expected to vote on the issue at around 4:15 Eastern. If the committee supports the inoculation, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky would still need to approve the shot before millions of children could become eligible. Now, the FDA already granted its support last week. So Dr. Dyan Hes joins us now to break down the latest developments. She is the founder of Gramercy Pediatrics. And I know this all comes as very good news to you because throughout this whole pandemic, we've been talking about the need for kids to be protected. So CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky spoke about the process of approving the Pfizer shot for younger children at yesterday's press briefing. I want to play a little sound from that.
Parents should feel comforted, not just that their children will be protected, but that this vaccine has gone through the necessary and rigorous evaluation that ensures the vaccine is safe and highly effective.
So we know that this messaging is really, really important, doctor, because just because the vaccine is available doesn't mean that parents are going to want their kids to take it, right? So do you expect that the approval from the CDC will perhaps sway some parents who are right now on the fence and a little hesitant?
I actually, maybe, but I feel that really what the people who are vaccine hesitant, they keep on claiming that they're waiting for FDA approval. Yet that those same people, when they get COVID, go to the hospital and get all these experimental treatments that are not FDA approved, but they just don't understand the science. So I feel like the camps already exist. You're either going to get the kids the vaccine, and you have been the parent that is calling my office every 10 minutes, so no one were getting it, or you're going to wait and see.
So let's talk about specifically what you're seeing right here in New York, Dr. Hes. The White House is working with over 20,000 pharmacies and pediatric offices to help administer the shot once approved. What's it like where you work? How are you preparing for all of this?
So it's a lot of waiting. So last night I got this cryptic message that the diluent, what you mix the vaccine with, is being shipped, and the needles are being shipped, but not the vaccine. So they had a tracking number, and I clicked on the tracking number to see if I have to run to my office this morning for the boxes, but it doesn't seem to have shipped overnight yet. So I think it's going to ship out this morning, and it says that they'll update us. And then I think as soon as they can, they're going to ship out the vaccine. I assume probably the end of today or tomorrow after this meeting. But what I've read already on the American Academy of Pediatrics this morning is, regardless of this meeting, I think the Biden administration wants to start shipping out because we don't want these delays like we had in the past. They're going to ship out the vaccine.
You know, I have a friend who's sort of convinced that both her and her whole family sort of got COVID a year and a half ago. They all got sick, including their young son, and they're sort of like, well, we got it, so we're kind of protected. And so I want to talk about that idea that, you know, if you already that you might not need the vaccine. Maybe as an adult, but because children don't get as sick, maybe there might be parents who say, listen, my kid already had COVID. You know, they were sick for a few days and they're fine now. Why do they need the vaccine? What does the research say?
Well, the research shows that the vaccine confers 5 times more immunity than having natural infection and then because think about it, you have the flu and you get the flu again and again and again. Or if you have had a kid and they have Coxsackie virus, they get it again and again and again. It is not lifelong immunity. It probably wanes within 5 to 6 months. So, you know, if you had it at the beginning of the pandemic in January, even if you had it 2 weeks ago, when I had COVID last winter, I got my vaccine 10 days later because I want the vaccine to be fully protected. So you really shouldn't factor in natural immunity into getting the vaccine. You should just get it as scheduled and recommended.
So, Doctor, the Meg Foundation says an estimated 63% of children have a fear of needles. This could be driving some kids to miss their routine immunizations. What do you say to parents whose children may have some overall anxiety around getting the shot? I was watching a piece last night on the evening news where a young girl who had a heart transplant was participating in a clinical trial for immunocompromised children, and she got her shot on national TV, and she was probably like only 10 years old. And I turned to my wife and I was like, man, that kid is brave, because when I was 10, I'd be, you know, they'd have 5 interns holding me down to get a shot. So what do you say to parents like mine?
Okay, so before COVID, we could deal with vaccine, and I have something called a Buzzy bee, where it puts a little vibration with an ice pack on the child's arm, and it's a distractor really. So it's not about numbing, but it's just distracting the nerves so they don't feel it. So there are all different techniques. We can put on a video. We just talk to them about their Halloween costume. I mean, we're pediatrics. We do this all day. That is not the problem. It is much worse to get your nose swabbed for a COVID nasopharyngeal swab where it has to go all the way back. And now that's what the kids are afraid of. So the kids come into our office now like this because they're terrified anytime they have a cold that they have to be swabbed. And it has to be a PCR for most schools. So that's the one that goes all the way back in the nasopharynx. So when you tell them, when you get this shot, hopefully we're not going to have to do this anymore, I think it's a good trade-off for most kids.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
You know what?
Yeah.
Also, a promise of cherry water ice afterwards goes a long way, trust me, as a mom, and also for me.
Yeah, we have a lot of leftover Halloween candy. I'm not a huge proponent of candy, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
Man, it's not a bad time to be a kid in America. My parents were like, you'll get nothing and like it. Just get this shot. It saves your life. That's the gift. Dr. Dyan Hes, thank you very much as always. We appreciate it.
Take care.